It began as a quiet afternoon. No storms, no warnings, no sense that anything unusual was about to happen. Two women were walking through the gardens of Versailles, educated, rational, accustomed to academic thinking. They weren't thrill seekers. They weren't looking for mysteries. They were simply trying to find their way back. And that's what makes this story unsettling, because neither of them expected what happened next. They had visited Versailles many times before. They knew the layout, the paths, the buildings. Yet that afternoon, something felt wrong almost immediately. The air felt heavier. The light changed, not darker, flatter, as if depth itself had been reduced. The gardens grew unnaturally quiet. Birdsong faded. Footsteps sounded distant. They noticed the people first. Men in long coats, women in unfamiliar dresses. Not costumes, not theatrical, natural, unquestioned. No one looked surprised to see them. No one reacted. The women assumed they had wandered into a historical reenactment. But something didn't add up. There were no signs, no guides, no modern staff anywhere. The buildings looked subtly different, less restored, less polished, as if they were seeing Versailles before history had cleaned it. They continued walking. Their sense of direction began to fail. Paths led somewhere they shouldn't. Landmarks felt misplaced. Time itself seemed uncooperative. Then they noticed the atmosphere, a feeling of oppression, not fear, not danger, something heavier, as if the place remembered something unpleasant. They described it later as an emotional weight, like stepping into a memory that didn't belong to them. They encountered a man sitting near a building. His face was deeply lined, his clothes old-fashioned. He stared at them in a way that felt detached, uninterested, not curious. One of the women felt an intense discomfort, a sense that they were intruding, that they did not belong there. They continued toward what they believed was the Petit Trianon. The closer they got, the stronger the unease became. The garden geometry changed, paths became simpler, less symmetrical. They noticed a woman sketching, seated quietly, wearing a light dress and a white hat. The image struck them deeply. Later, they would describe her as strangely familiar, almost iconic. But at the time, she was just another figure, another wrong detail. They reached the Petit Trianon, and suddenly, everything shifted. The oppressive feeling lifted. The light returned to normal. The gardens became familiar again. Tourists appeared. Modern clothing, laughter, the world resumed. They looked at each other. Neither spoke at first. They both knew something had happened. They returned home unsettled, confused, unable to explain the experience. They tried to dismiss it. Fatigue, imagination, expectation. But the details stayed vivid, too vivid. They began comparing notes. Their descriptions matched, not generally, precisely. The same figures, the same paths, the same emotional weight. They decided to investigate. They consulted maps, historical records, old illustrations, and that's when the story became impossible to ignore. The buildings they described matched Versailles as it appeared in the late 18th century, before major renovations, before restorations altered the landscape. The paths that confused them no longer existed in the modern layout, but they existed historically. The man who caused discomfort, his clothing matched descriptions of gardeners from the era. The sketching woman, her posture, her attire, resembled portraits of Marie Antoinette, not a modern romantic version, but the subdued, private depictions. They hadn't known these details beforehand. They weren't historians of French court life, yet their experience aligned with archival material. Critics suggested shared hallucination, but hallucinations don't produce matching architectural errors. They don't align with forgotten pathways. They don't recreate historically accurate clothing without reference. The women published their account, quietly, carefully. They avoided sensationalism. They didn't claim ghosts. They didn't claim time travel. They described exactly what they experienced, nothing more, nothing less. The academic community reacted with discomfort, not ridicule, discomfort, because the case resisted easy dismissal. No motive, no benefit, no hysteria, just two witnesses describing the same impossible event. Later investigations found something else troubling. Other visitors had reported similar sensations near the Petit Trianon. Disorientation, emotional heaviness, a sense of stepping out of place. Most brushed it off. Few documented it. The Versailles Incident became categorized as a time slip, not a portal, not a vision, a momentary misalignment between past and present, a place where history wasn't fully gone, but layered, waiting. The women themselves never sought fame. They never capitalized on the story. They remained consistent until the end of their lives, never adding details, never exaggerating. Their story never grew. It stayed the same, which is rare and unsettling. Today, Versailles is crowded, restored, observed. Yet some visitors still report moments of quiet wrongness, a sudden stillness, a shift in light, a sense that they've stepped into something unfinished. And then it passes. No proof remains, no photos, no recordings, just memory. The Versailles Incident reminds us of something uncomfortable, that time may not be as clean as we think, that history doesn't always stay behind us, that some places don't just remember the past, they occasionally reveal it. And when they do, it's never dramatic, no music, no spectacle, just a quiet moment, walking through a garden and realizing you are no longer where you thought you were.